Good afternoon, welcome back to my channel. Doing something a little bit different today. Going to do a Q&A session. Got the questions from Google. I literally just typed in questions for a Q&A and it gave me this list of 100. Don't worry, I'm not doing that many. So I've picked a handful, so here we go. Okay, so I've got the questions on my iPhone. I'm just going to work through them. The first one is, what would you name a boat if you had one? And the answer to this is the Millennium Falcon. I don't care how big the boat is, I don't care if it's a little rowing boat or if it's a steam liner. I would literally call it the Millennium Falcon because that works on so many different levels. If it's huge, people are like, that's really cool. If it's a tiny rowing boat, it's hilarious. So everybody wins. So question number 2 is, what's the best purchase you've ever made? Now this is going to sound really boring and a bit practical, but I actually think the best purchase that I've ever made is a pair of black skinny chinos. For a couple of reasons. First of all, they're incredibly fashionable, don't you know? But also because I've been able to wear them to a really wide range of events. I can wear them casually, I can wear them formally. I mean, those are literally the only two scenarios for that. But yeah, black chinos. For years I've struggled with this because I've always been a fan of black skinny jeans, but you can't wear them in a formal setting. Well, I certainly can't anyway. So black chinos opened up that world for me, and I would strongly recommend you do the same. Get yourself a pair of black chinos. They're incredible. What's the closest thing to real magic? That's a really good question, actually. I feel like at this point, if I say music, that's a bit of a cop-out, so I'm going to have to choose something else, aren't I? Although music is pretty magical, isn't it? Isn't it incredible that sound vibrations going through the air can make people feel things? That is genuinely amazing. I would have also said making ice cream, but I've learned to do that recently as well, and it's less magic than you'd think. It just involves a machine and churning, so I've always been amazed by people who can paint, people who can draw. That is just incredible. I come from a family of artists and I'm the only person who can't really draw. Yet our house is full of the art of various people in my family who can paint and draw, and it's lovely to sort of see it around me, and I've always been amazed by people who can do that. Whenever I'm in London, I always go to the National Portrait Gallery, and there's a particular painting, I think it's called The Experiment by Joseph Wright of Derby, and it's so realistic. It's such an incredible painting. It looks like a photograph, which I know is a bit of a naff thing to say because that's a very different medium in itself, but it's an incredible painting. I urge you to all go and check it out. It's beautiful, beautiful piece of art. And that's pretty magic to me. So I guess in a way, art, not just visual art, but music, drama, dance, etc., that to me is the most magical thing in the world because you're creating something out of nothing. You are literally moving people with, you know, vibrations in the air, or the way that you're moving, or something that you've actually drawn onto a piece of paper, and that to me is incredible. That is magic. What's the most useless talent you have? Now, interestingly enough, I do know this. I don't bake a lot, but when I do, I'm able to guess the weight of a stick of butter within a gram. I don't know why, and I don't know how, but I can. So that's my useless talent. Have you gone into a room and forgotten why? Yes. I don't really know what to do with that, actually. Is there meant to be a follow-up question? Am I meant to give an example of that? Because I'll be honest, I do it all the time. So, yes, I always go into rooms and forget why I've gone into them. Where would you most like to live? There are a handful of places that I've always wanted to live, including New York and Italy. I've never actually been to America, so I don't really know where I've got that from. I really like the idea of New York. It just seems like a really nice place to live. But Italy I have been to, and I did fall in love straight away. It's such an incredible place, and the food is incredible. So probably one of those two places. But to be totally honest with you, I love visiting places. I love just going for a weekend or going and doing a gig somewhere. And sometimes you kind of go, yes, I could live here. And sometimes you go, I definitely couldn't, but I've really enjoyed my experience. For example, Florence, when I went there, I don't know if I could live there because it was so hot in the summer that I just cannot cope with heat at all. But it was a beautiful place. So of course I'd go back. It's such an incredible city, but I don't think I could live there. Okay, and the last question I've got is, what's the best film you've seen recently? A couple of weeks ago, I actually sat down on a Sunday night and I watched Sierra Burgess is a Loser and To All the Boys I've Loved Before, back to back on Netflix. And I really like those two films because they've kind of got a bit of an 80s throwbackish vibe. And I thought they were really well made. I really like those kind of films. And to be honest with you, I think Sierra Burgess is a Loser is going to take the top spot for me at the moment because they actually went to the trouble of getting Marty McFly's mum and Ferris Bueller's dad to be her mum and dad. And I immediately recognised them both and I was like, great, they're from 80s films, that's a nice touch, really enjoyed it. So obviously they used that vibe, that 80s kind of Breakfast Club vibe to make the film. So hats off to you for that. So that is the end of today's question and answer session. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give the video a like and subscribe. And of course, for next time, I'd love for you to give me some questions to answer. So if you could leave some in the comments, that would be fantastic, or leave them on my Twitter or what have you, that would be great. But for now, that's it. So I'll see you soon.